Yo, what is going on guys? It's Sungod here, and today I'm gonna be teaching you Zyra with a video as an example, of course. I hope you enjoy, and let's get right into it. So Zyra has one of the fastest clear in the game, and she is one of the best pick into champions that aren't very mobile. So for example, you don't really want to be picking that into a Kali, for example, because she's just gonna jump on you and there's no real counterplay until you get Banshees or even Zonias. She is amazing into tanks because she can pretty much just one-shot any tanks in the game fairly easily because you're going to be building lion trees and you're going to stack it up very, very fast. She has extremely good team fighting, one of the best, and her skirmishing is absolutely insane because you're going to be really fast in the tempo. You're very often going to be like up in levels. So the games needed to master Zyra, I would say, would be 20 roughly, just to get a feel for it. You know, at first you're probably not going to be doing too well, but the more you understand the champion, the better it's going to be. The tips is don't be scared to invade. I know it's going to be scary, but if you're not comfortable with that, you're never going to be used to like actually invade and make good use of your tempo. So even if you make mistakes, it's fine, but you should learn from them. Play around your plants, of course, that's a given. Most of your damage output is going to be around your plants, and you should E behind the target, so the E is the root, of course, if you are ganking in Diamond Plus, because people are actually going to actively try to dodge it. I will show you, like in this game, there's going to be an example of that. And here is the rune page. So I'm not going to talk about the rune page all too much. Only thing you can change is Grizzly Mementos with 6th Sense. If you're planning on invading, you can change the 9 adaptive to ability haste if you're planning on farming like a little bit more. And you can change the bonus health to flat health like in the early game to 65 if you're playing against like dangerous matchups. Another rune page here, and this is the pretty much the Sungod special. If you're gonna go for more of like a passive approach, you can basically use Arcane Comet with Axiom Arcanist, Transcendence of Water Walking. You can change Axiom Arcanist with Nimbus Cloak if you are against dangerous matchups, but here the main focus is to stack as much ability haste as possible so that you get more plants, etc., and you're gonna be having like a more team fight oriented build with a passive approach. Alright, I'm not going to talk about the matchup for too long, so pause if you need afterwards, but basically champions that can match Zyra's tempo, for example Zed, and jump on top of her, is going to be a nightmare. So Zed is probably my go-to ban if I'm playing Zyra. Belveth, obviously very hard to deal with as well, because she's just going to be on top of you 24/7, and you don't really want that. Other champions are fairly hard to deal with if they're really good at it. Would be Rengar, Talon. You know, they're pretty much gonna have like again the same thing, passive approach into lethality item, can build Edge of Night, jump on top of you. It's a nightmare. But overall, you're gonna be surprised to see champions like, for example, Viego, or as you can see, like all the tanks are pretty much like in D tier. Like she is just way too good against them. Viego is the freest matchup of all time. Like you can try it out yourself. It's absolutely the easiest matchup ever, but overall try to avoid picking that again into champions that are able to jump on top of you, and you'll be more than fine. Let's get right into the video. So I'm quickly gonna go over pretty much everything like regarding Zyra in this game. I'm gonna be teaching you like how to play her overall, but essentially this champion has extremely high tempo, and because she does everything so fast, you can basically be on the map like anytime that you want, and you're gonna see like in this game that that's exactly what happens. Unfortunately, like I got invaded from the bot side here. My team didn't actually want that, so it kind of sucks, but the enemy team answered like pretty well. By, you know, invading me and disrupting my clear. It didn't disrupt like all that much, just removed like 10 seconds from my clear, which is more than fine. At least finds a gank top lane here, so my first answer here is to go for another gank, which I see is possible because I see that they're like low HP, and we're gonna end up like taking a kill for ourselves here. I'm not gonna be talking about the game too much, but just give you like general pointers on like how to actually play this champion. Essentially, like in the early game, except if there is like very free situations, or you have like a stronger fighting power. For example, you have a level lead, you're level 4, they're level 3, you have an item lead, whatever it is. You really want to be focusing your camps, pretty much. Like, you want to be focusing your camps because you have such a fast clear. You should look for invades as much as possible. Why? Because you have such a fast clear, meaning that you can take away camps really fast. And the first thing that you want is 900 gold for your back, and get this item that you can see like that I bought. If possible, you should also get like an early Dark Seal and early T1 boots. Why? Because your champion is very reliant on the movement speed, and getting this Dark Seal early on means that you can also get a Mage Eyes. If you can get the Mage Eyes, the champion becomes even more broken. Why? Because you get the 10% movement speed on the 10 stacks, and you're much faster going from camp to camp to camp to camp, and your tempo just accelerates just so much. So that's why, like, I really like getting Mage Eyes. I get it like most of my games. If I'm playing like really high elo, I'm probably not getting it, but in most games I'll be looking to purchase the Mage Eyes. And you can see, like, in this game, like, Elise is level 4, just got level 5, but I was 2 levels on her by just, going for nice plays, going for my counts as much as possible, and just accelerating my tempo. What you want to be doing, like, in order to carry on Zyra is very simple. Like, just get your level lead, try to like snowball as much as possible. Always focus up on your camps. When you do have legendaries, sorcerer's shoes, you have your ult, that's when you can start looking for fights, and that's exactly what you're gonna see here. I'm just gonna be playing it like slow and steady, and I'm just gonna one-shot this Severe here, and there's nothing she can do about it. And you can just see like the fighting power that you have like in team fights even early on. I don't even have legendaries just yet, but we just completely destroy this team fight with good placement, playing it slow, playing it calculated, and just not really go too deep like in a team fight. Very important that you have really good awareness with Zyra, and this awareness is mostly like your positioning. You kind of want to have like an ADC positioning, but the positioning itself is easier because you have even more range than most ADCs, right? You just put your plants, wait for your cooldowns, back off, go back in the fight, use your R, use your E for like if you find like a situation that allows you to do so, and then like go deep if you're able to. But most of the time you don't need to take too much risk with this champ, and that's why she's so strong. She's insanely good, like I said, like at the start of the video, into very tanky comps. Why? Because she just shreds absolutely everything with legendaries. Like, there's no better tank killers than Zyra. Really dislike going Zyra into champions like Karma, Akali. Those type of champions will kind of make your life a nightmare. Except if you're fed, of course. There isn't really much they can do anyway. But yeah, regarding like the clear, once you do have your legendaries, if you have like sorcerer's shoes or kind of fed with Mage Eyes, that's when you can start just accelerating your tempo even further, because you're not gonna put 2 plants per camp anymore. You're gonna start putting like 1 plant and then let the plant do the job, Q, and put another plant and just let it finish, because it has like a cooldown on each plant, as you already know. But you can just see, like, I will leave the camp before I even complete it, because the plant is obviously just going to like hit the camp anyway. So yeah, I don't really focus on the objectives early on. This is something I really do want to talk about, because like a lot of people will probably say, hey, objectives are important, you're Zyra, you can do objectives like fairly fast. While I do agree doing a Drake is very good for the team, I usually like to prioritize going for the X-Tech Drake, because it gives you like an extra ability haste. Extra ability haste is very OP on Zyra, but most of the time I will not go for an objective unless it's very free and I don't have anything else to do. Most of the time you do have something else to do on the map, whether it's like an invade and taking some camps, or going for a dive, etc. You can dive very easily on this champion as well. Another little cool mechanic is doing grubs on Zyra is very easy because of your W you know, the plants that you get. Essentially, every time you kill a camp, doesn't matter if it's like a big or small camp, you will get extra cooldown resetted like on your W. Meaning that even if you kill like, you know, like the small little grubbies that pop out of the big grubs, then you get cooldown resetted and you can just spam plants over and over and over again and just do grubs like really fast. So that's like a cool little trick that that you should know. But overall, when you're doing the Drake, it's really important not to put the plants directly on the Drake, because the Drake is just gonna two-shot your plants anyway. So you want to take the aggro and put the plants on the side, so that your Drake just doesn't really kill the plants. And look, another beautiful team fight where we just clear absolutely everything. And you can see like when someone is able to get on top of you, you will most likely die, and that's like the weakness of Zyra. To compensate this, most of the time I will go Zonias if I really don't have a choice. However, like most of the time, especially like in game at lower elos, I like to just really focus on getting pen, you know, getting that shadow flame and getting that void staff or the crib bloom, getting like all those like items that just give you just so much damage. You can just see like she's just bursting out, like she evaporated, dude. But yeah, after some point, once you get to like, you know, your laundries and all these pen items, you know, like shadow flame, void staff, that's when you start like dishing out like some serious damage. Like even right now, like you can just tell like how much damage I'm really doing. But I will stop commentate like in a little bit and let you guys watch the video in peace. But that's pretty much like how you really play Zyra. I really advise you to play at least, you know, 20 games of her before you really do get the hang of it. And last but not least, like she is by far one of the strongest champion in the jungle right now. If you know what you're doing and you're picking her like in the right scenarios. But yeah, I'll let you guys enjoy the video, enjoy the Hollow Knight music, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.